video is going to be a tutorial on the look that I am wearing. Lots of tips and tricks for the hooded eye. And it is, this look, I'm telling you, is just giving me life right now. Like, this look is everything. This is literally like my favorite look that I think I have done so far yet. I mean, it is completely natural. You could literally wear it like this. I'm all about the eye contouring with a little extra. Or you could smoke it up even more. You could add some winged eyeliner and some falsies, but either way, it is just a stunning look. I used the Friendcation palette. This is the Desi and Katie collab with Dose of Colors, and it looks like this. Oh, this just breathes life. This look breathes life into me, and I used this shade right here, Just a Kiss, on the lid. And I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but it is just beautiful. So yeah, it is a cut crease tutorial slash for the hooded eye. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. And if you're new here, don't forget and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell next to it so you will be notified of all of my future uploads. And you guys know the drill. Without further ado, let's get into this video. I went ahead and primed my eyes off camera. I used the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre as always. If you guys are interested and haven't seen how I prime my eyes, I usually include that in all my videos. You can check out one of my videos below, and I probably have that in there. Today we're going to use the Friendcation palette. Believe me, it's really hard to decide which palette to use because I've gotten so many new ones that I cannot wait to play in. But this is the Desi and Katie collab with Dose of Colors. And it looks like this right here. Yeah. So pretty. Actually, they're all so pretty. I can't wait to dip into all of them. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is draw our crease. I did get some new brushes. I got the Dose of Colors set and the Iconic London set to add to my 200 and some brushes, which, by the way, I am going to be doing a video on brushes. That is literally the most requested video on my channel right now because my channel is new, but I have gotten requests to do a kind of a brush, kind of almost like a 101. So I decided to do it as a beginner's brush guide. So hopefully I will get that up soon. But I did get some new detailed crease work brushes. This one is a winged liner by Sigma. It's an E06. Really tiny and slim, but angled. And I'm going to use this one to draw my crease. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of, I guess this is churro. Don't know how to say it, but it's a really kind of a light caramelly brown shade. Really pretty. I'm going to draw my crease with that. I'm going to start with mapping it out. So I'm going to look straight ahead. If you have hooded eyes, you want to make sure you're looking straight ahead. And we're going to put just a little mark on top of the skin fold, which is the hood. So those of us that have hooded eyes, we have this hood that comes down over our lid space, encroaching on our lid space. So we're going to go ahead and just put a little mark here right on that skin fold. So when you look up, it will look like this. You will have two little marks. So now that we've got that mapped out, I'm going to go ahead and draw my crease. I'm going to grab a smaller mirror here just so I can see what the heck's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this from the inner corner, and I'm just going to follow along the natural contour of my eye, and I'm going to kind of follow along the crease. I'm not going to take it too deep. I just really want to kind of outline it and kind of just get a map going, if you will, so it will look something like this. Get both of these to look like they are sisters or twins. Well, twins would be nice. I'd be happy for sisters because sometimes they don't even look like they're related. Maybe distant cousins, maybe like third or fourth cousins. And I'm going to kind of wing it out at the end. So just kind of putting in a little wing there at the end. And this is really just going to be kind of a guideline. It's going to kind of tell me where I need to kind of place my shadows and just kind of serve as a outline really more than anything at this point. When you look straight ahead with your eyes open, you want to be able to see that crease that you drew. That is like the goal. because if you can't see the crease, if you put this in your natural crease, when the hood or skin folds over on your eyelid, you're not going to be able to see it. So you want to draw your fake crease about a couple millimeters above your natural crease. And I'm not going to, I'm going to blend this out in a second, but once you get them both drawn, it's going to look something like this. Okay, so the first shade that I'm going to pick up for my transition shade is going to be this light beige one right here. This is called Necessary, and I'm using an Iconic London brush. This is one of my new brushes. This is going to kind of be a shadow, if you will. It's going to kind of like be a halo over my transition shade, and I'm just going to lightly dust this right in the upper crease area. I'm going to try to do a really natural look today. It always gets really smoky, so I'm trying to do a really natural look today. My brow bone shade in there, and I like to get that done in the beginning so that the transition shade kind of has something to kind of blend into, if you will. I'm just going to use this Bobbi Brown one. This is shade is called Bone, and I'm just going to be using this is a Sigma E40. I'm just going to go ahead and place this kind of in the upper brow bone area. This will give my transition shade something to blend into, if you will. All right, I'm still working with my Iconic London brush here. I'm just going to kind of build up that color slowly. I decided to use this brush because I get a little bit more control, even though this is a transition shade. A lot of times when I use this is the Sigma E40. This is great if I want like an all-over wash of color, but when I want to have a little bit more precision and control, I really kind of need to use a brush that's a little bit more tapered and has a little bit more structure to it. All right, I'm just keeping the color placed in the upper crease. All right, now I'm going to pick up my MAC 217, my Holy Grail, and I'm going to go into, I think I'm going to take this shade right here. This is Churro, El Toro. I'm going to take this shade right here. And I am going to just pop this pretty much a little bit lower than the last shade that I put in, but still above the fake crease line that I drew. So kind of like right there in the center. I'm gonna grab a little bit more here, and I think I'm just gonna kind of tap it on. I've been into this tapping mode lately where I just kind of lay it down and then just lightly blend it in there. I'm trying not to get any on my lid so that I don't have to do a lot of cleanup to cut my crease, because I want to go ahead and cut my crease with just the crease line that I drew. So I'm keeping this kind of low, and I'm also holding the brush at an upward angle so that I can blend upwards, and so that I don't end up with any harsh lines right on that brow bone. Switch to a blending brush now, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of this Bone shade, and I'm using this also as a blending tool shade, so it's not just my brow bone shade, but I'm using it as a blending tool shade, and I'm just going to go ahead and buff out the edges and kind of blend it into my brow bone shade, my transition shade. I always keep a blending brush nearby so that I can buff out those edges, and I'm going very lightly. I'm barely even touching the edge of that last color that I put in, but I want it to kind of be airbrushed and kind of just seamlessly flow, if you will, into the, kind of want it to melt. I guess that's the word, melt. I want it to melt into that brow bone shade. All right, now I'm going to go back over with that first transition shade again and that first blending brush, and I'm just going to blend out everything just to make sure that it's kind of all melted together, if you will. I'm still not done yet. I'm still going to be putting in my deepest shade, but I'm going to be doing that in a little bit here. I want to keep this color really kind of in this crease area, so I'm not going all over. I'm just making sure that I don't move the color around and it doesn't get too high. I'm just trying to keep it kind of concentrated all in this crease area right here. All right, now I'm going to actually clean up my crease, and I'm not going to, since I've already kind of cut the crease and kind of mapped it out with the crease that I drew, I am not going to put concealer and clean this all up because I feel like it's already cleaned, which is why I kind of do it that way, because I really don't like working with that concealer. So I'm going to take this. This is one of my new brushes. This is the Anastasia number 18. It's just a concealer brush, and I'm just going to take some of this bone shade here, this Bobbi Brown bone shade, and I'm just going to clean up my lid. And I'm just going to be kind of carving out where I'm going to be placing my shimmer shade. I try to keep the lid space as clean as I can and free from color so that I don't have to put all of that concealer down on there, because I just don't like working with all that concealer. But that being said, sometimes I do use a little bit of concealer just underneath to kind of touch everything up and just make sure that everything is nice and clean and sharp. So I can't say that I don't do it, because I still do it every now and then, but I try not to. I try to keep the lid as free from shadows as I can. So yeah, this is kind of why I do this step, because I feel like if I carve out my crease in the beginning with my fake crease, then my lid space is fairly clean and I can just kind of wipe it clean with a bone shade. So now the fun part. I have not played with these, anything at all. I was originally going to kind of do a little pop of color, but then I really want to use this. This is like this is so me. This gold shimmery, especially with kind of a light little neutral look that we got going on here. So I'm going to try this first with my finger, I think, and just see kind of how it applies. Ooh. Looks really creamy. And then I'm probably going to use a brush to kind of work on the ends a little bit and add a little bit of, I think a little bit of shade. I think I'm going to add a color back here is what I think I'm going to do, so that it has something to kind of blend into the edges. Dang. Ooh. This is getting my MAC Fix Plus. I have already, I think I said this before at the beginning, I've already primed my eyelids. So before I put this shadow on, my eyes have already been primed, and that primer has been already set with translucent powder. So I didn't need to set that because I did not carve out my crease with concealer. I used that bone shade. All right, the moment of truth. I have not even played with this yet, you guys. So this is like exciting for me. I'm going to tap off a little bit of that Fix Plus, and I'm going to lightly just dab into here. Oh, wow. Oh. This is orgasmic. This is better than sex. Wow. Wow. I'm just going to first kind of lay down the first layer since the brush is wet. And then I'm going to go in for a second round. And I'm going to concentrate this just in the center. So I'm going to take the, where is my, all right, here it is. This is one of my new brushes. This is the Dose of Colors pencil brush. And I have a lot of pencil brushes, but this one is really, really thin and tapered. And that's why I like this, because I can really get in there and just do a really fine line, as opposed to like my MAC 219, I think it is. I don't know, this one's so old. I've got some older pencil brushes, or like the Sigma E30. This one is just a lot slimmer and thinner than both of those. So I'm going to take this really deep shade right here. What is this one? This one's Cheens. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, just a tiny bit, and I'm going to work really, really slow, because I really don't want this to turn into a hot mess, which can happen very easily. So I'm just going to place a little bit of this right, and I'm just going to kind of tap this in to start with, right on the border. I call it the border between the shimmer shade and the crease. So basically I'm deepening up my fake crease that I drew, but I'm also kind of covering up the border of that shimmer shade. So I'm just going to pack this in here, lay this down, and then I'm going to blend it out. Oh my God, that is so refreshing. You guys, this look is giving me life. Oh. Wow, this look is totally giving me life. It is just natural and beautiful, and I'm just loving this palette. It's just another one of those palettes that you look at and it literally just like, oh, makes me gasp. So I will be back with more looks from this palette. So stay tuned at the end of this video. I'll show you guys a couple of new products that I got this week, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in my next one. I love you. Bye. Mwah. Bye.
I did my lower lash line and the rest of my makeup off camera. For my lower lash line, I just put in the colors I used on top.